Here now, and we're going to finish strong with a guest you've seen on the show before. It is tax time. It is we're finishing up February, going into March, getting into the April season where you have to get the taxes done. One of the things we really got to pay attention to is your capital gains tax. What Bill Exeter helps us with is how to avoid paying capital gains tax specifically to real estate, how you can reposition the sale of a home into a bigger and better home and avoid those taxes. So Bill, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. It's good to be back on.
So real quick, so people who haven't seen you on the show before, we do have our new audience here on Cox Channel 4. Explain again what a 1031 exchange is.
Well, the 1031 applies to any property that's held for rental, held for investment, or used in a business. And if you want to sell that and trade up to a larger property, more units, more expensive property, you can do that through a 1031 exchange without paying your capital gain tax. Your capital gain taxes. So you can defer the payment of your taxes through the 1031 exchange.
Now, what are the time frames you have to do something like this? We talked about this before, but there is a small window. Very
small window. As soon as your sale transaction closes, you have 45 days to identify what you're going to buy, and a total of 180 days to actually close on your purchases. So it moves very quickly.
Now, you have to establish a like kind of property. So, I mean, imagine we just had Mary here. She could help you find a property that's similar. What exactly do you mean by like kind of property?
Good question. There's a lot of misinformation out there in the world today, on the internet, etc. And really, like kind in the 1031 exchange context, when you're dealing with real estate, is any kind of real estate, as long as it's held for rental or investment or use in a business. So a lot of people assume that it has to be, a condo traded for a condo or apartments for apartments. And it's completely not true. So you could exchange out of a single family house and buy a commercial office building. You could sell commercial office. You can get into oil and gas interests, water rights, air rights. You can get into fractional ownership of property, where you own a fractional interest, like a 5% interest in commercial property. So all of the real estate out there is considered like kind as long as it's held for rental or investment.
So now, who sets the rules on that? I mean, when you negotiate that for someone, I mean, who's the one who identifies it and says, no, well, that's not a like-kind property? I mean, does the IRS step in here? I'm confused as to who's going to call it out if it wasn't a like-kind property. Does that question make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. It's really a federal tax code, so it's Section 1031 of the Internal Revenue Code. Most states follow the federal code as well. Some states have little idiosyncrasies here and there, but for the most part they follow the federal code. So you're really looking to your tax advisors, your attorneys, for guidance to make sure it qualifies. If you get audited, that's when it's called into question, and that's when your attorneys and your accountants will help you walk through that. And part of our job as the qualified intermediary is to really walk you through the process, make sure you understand what like-kind means, what qualified use means, and that you're buying the right type of property.
All the professionals you just named, I think people need to know that you can be a turnkey solution for that. If you have questions on any of this stuff, you can go to 1031exchange.com. Is that the right website for you?
ExeterGroup1031.com.
I'm sorry about that. ExeterGroup1031.com. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. If you want to learn more information from Bill, get connected with some of these partners, find out what you can or can't do. You also have a guide that you guys have that you give out. Tell me about your article, your guide that you have here.
Sure, it's it's about a 20-page guidebook that walks the beginner all the way through the 1031 exchange process. So all the basics, what qualified use is, it goes through all the like-kind requirements, the deadlines. So it's a real quick read for you to get up to speed on 1031 exchanges.
Any mistakes you're seeing people make right now with these?
The toughest part is the 45-day period, trying to make sure you go out and find suitable replacement property, identify in time. So hook up with your realtor as quickly as you can, start looking for property, don't wait till it's too late.
Makes sense. Well, Bill, appreciate you coming on here. Let's direct people to you if they have questions on this stuff. ExeterGroup1031.com. Bill Exeter, you hear him on our radio show all the time. He's going to be on this show with us for a long time. He's helping realtors out there understand this, and he's also helping you homeowners out there and you investors. He's one of those guys you need to have on your phone. You need to have his business card. ExeterGroup1031.com. I'd love to get to one or two more emails if we could before we wind down the show here. Again, we encourage you to go to craigsewing.com. This is where we can answer directly. It's all confidential. So let's see if we can pull up one or two more here. This is from John. He was asking how bankruptcy works and how it affects my credit score. We already answered that one, guys, but I'll answer it again for you. Get another one so we can make sure we get something new here. But a bankruptcy, again, it's like Control-Alt-Delete. It's the solution to debt. But if you find yourself in this situation, it does pair up with credit. I have seen credit scores go up on people who file bankruptcy. Now, I'm not saying that's something that I can guarantee, but we have a team that can help you get out of debt, get back on track. It's not a fun situation, but you got to remember, you live in the greatest country on the planet. There is no debtor's jail. It is the law protecting you. Understand how the law works. Give me one more, guys. All right, this is Stan from East County. What should I do if my house is underwater? Look, a lot of people are in this situation, Stan. I'm glad you reached out. We're going to connect you with one of our real estate elite. I'm getting a hard out here. Thank you, Channel 4, for our first show, The American Dream. We had a great time here today. You can catch us on 1170 AM, and we'll be back here next Saturday helping you win in any marketplace. See you next week.